This is a 2018 Jaguar XE, and unlike what you may expect this to be in an S variant, it's a whole bundle more. See, with prices starting at £48,000, when you put some options on it, it very, very quickly raises above 50. The ability to be able to do this, it's worth every single penny. So what powers this to be able to achieve performance like that? Well, it's a 3-litre supercharged V6 petrol engine which produces 380 PS and 540 Newton meters of torque. Put that combined with Jaguar's really, really quick and efficient automatic gearbox through a all-wheel drive system, you'll see 0 to 60 times in 5 seconds, or less if you're lucky. Now, stopping you from the excessively high speed which you will no doubt get up to very, very quickly are humongous brake discs and pads and calipers. They're Jaguar branded, and they're significantly bigger than you would see on its, shall we say, less performance-inspired brothers. However, without fail, this will stop you faster than you could ever imagine possible for A, the speed you're going, and B, the size of the vehicle itself. Equipment test time. So it's not as big as an XF inside in the cabin area or in the cargo area, but it's not small. It does take more than your weekly shop. It takes a lot more than you would expect a car of this size to take. So can it take all my equipment? I'm already suspecting that the base is going to have to go on the back seat, but we'll just have to wait and see just how it pans out. So it goes without saying, the major components fit in the boot. Have a look. Base cabinet, pedal board, head, stand. Easy peasy, but the base itself, back seat, also easy peasy. So ample space, just not quite as big as an XF, which you'd expect because it's an XE, not an XF. Now, the shocking thing I found when driving this is that from a daily point of view, it's actually quite comfortable. However, there's one bit where this doesn't feel as Jaguar refined, because typically when I think Jaguar, I am thinking 3-litre diesel or big V8. Being a V6, I expected a bit more fuel economy. Now, I know that you are getting some crazy 0 to 60 figures, and the torque band's ridiculous and the power band's great, and that there's literally no lag because it's supercharged, but realistically combined, you're looking at mid-20s at best. Currently I'm seeing 22.2 miles per gallon. I do have a heavy right foot in regards of every single time there is a empty slip road to bring me up to 70 miles an hour to join the motorway, I will use all the power to get there, as I'm sure anyone who owns one of these will. But then again, if you buy a car like this, do you really care about the fact that it doesn't get substantial fuel economy? Probably not. Inside, Jaguar have done a typically superb Jaguar job. It's refined, it's comfortable, it's quiet, it's cozy. So while fuel economy is not going to be one of your essential factors when you buy an XE S, because obviously a supercharged 3-litre V6 is not going to give you EcoBox fuel economy. However, you may be interested to see what it can do when you're doing around town and it's not being pushed. On paper, the extra urban, as in sitting at a speed, not going under any pressure, which is effectively what I'm going to do now at an even lower speed, is 46 miles per gallon. Will it achieve that? Probably not. However, you may be surprised to see what it can get around town when you don't get stuck in traffic and you don't get overzealous at the traffic lights as soon as they go green. The surprising answer and realization of this is that you can achieve 39 miles per gallon if you don't boot it at the traffic lights, if you sit at a regular speed and you just don't get carried away and you feather the throttle effectively. So that is something you can get. If you get stuck in traffic and you have a bit of fun at the traffic lights, you're going to be seeing more like 25, 26 miles per gallon, maybe up to the 30s if you're lucky. But again, this is a 380 PS V6 supercharged super saloon. So really, to be able to achieve that's pretty good anyway. You have an 800 odd watt sound system, Meridian sound system. You have one of these split screen center sat nav screens, so that while you're looking at the sat nav, or you've got the radio, or you're selecting something with your phone, your passenger can be watching a film with the Bluetooth headphones that come with it. The heads-up display is superb when it comes to long-distance driving, because it even gives you sat-nav directions on there. On the TFT display in front of you, you kind of get everything else, including a full map display, so you can have something else going on over here. This particular car also then has a ginormous panoramic sliding sunroof, which is a best part of the £1,000 option. The rear passengers get ample legroom, not loads, but enough. It's a good family car. You've got ISOFIX in the back. It is a model option to have split fold rear seats, so if you are going to be taking any luggage, you will want to option that in. Otherwise, fitting people in like a xylophone player can be very difficult. It's got power boot on it, which means power open and close. It's a very cheap option in relationship to the car. Then starting with outside, with what I can only describe as Jags, for me, one of their best ever looking cars. The XE has always been a bit of a, everyone went for the XF, in my opinion, because it looked better, it was bigger, it gave you more of a luxury stance. But with the XE, with all the all-new redefining factors of it, people are going to XE in diesel and petrol variants. Probably not so many business owners going for a 3-litre supercharged V6, but they're going for it because it looks amazing. The sweeping styled lines are just delicious. Gig test time. So I'm playing a festival over in Salisbury, kind of Salisbury Live, I believe it is, and I thought, what a better way to get to my gig and doing a proper gig test with it, with all the equipment in it and enjoying the drive. This is not an economy based thing, it's just a how comfortable is it, how much fun can you have when you drive this to a gig, which I suspect is going to be a lot of fun. Let's go. From it all, everything here reminds me of you. I got 200 downs on a list that I will try to do. I can't see myself with anyone else. I have arrived, and really it goes without saying that it's an incredible fun car to drive to gigs, because you don't get stuck behind people, there's no issues in overtaking. Fuel economy is not that bad if you behave yourself. So generally, it's a great car to drive to gigs. It's comfortable, it's quiet, it's nippy to get around people, more than enough space to take everything you want. Fuel economy, anywhere between 23 and 37 miles per gallon. Entirely depends on your driving style, really. But otherwise, what a way to get to a gig. Add on things like the black pack it's got on the outside, and you end up having this really sleek and sporty but prestigious looking vehicle, which is just stunning to look at from every single angle. It is an absolutely stunning car, and it's part of their new design front end, because when you compare it to, say, an older XF where they had more of a round front end, this is now very sharp, very sleek, very modern. Gigging wise, it was easy. Not really the most fuel efficient journey to a gig I've ever done, because, well, when there's back roads you will play. You'll put it in dynamic, you'll put it in a sports gearbox and you'll have fun. But it was worth every single penny, because the driving experience is something which just cannot be, I cannot stress it enough. The all-wheel drive system just does not let go. Although sometimes you do feel a tiny bit of understeer when you are being an idiot and you're pushing it through a corner far faster than it's made to take it, you'll generally find that this is a superb handling car that will out-handle most of its competitors. It will outbrake many of its competitors, and just generally, because of the way it's built, I found it a perfect daily, where maybe something like an RS3 is going to be a little bit too, an RS3 or an RS4 is going to be a little bit too savage for you. This is great. However, in the wet you need to be careful. It has a wet mode setting, and I laughed at the thought of seeing wet, rain, snow, ice setting on here. I thought, what is the point of that? And very quickly found out it was a very, very important point that this car really needs, because it's got 540 Newton meters of torque. Even with all-wheel drive, it likes to rip up. So in the wet, when there's limited traction, it rips up a lot. So to summarise, a vehicle which costs £48,000 base price, and you are probably going to want to stick about £5,000 or £6,000 worth of options on it, it's superb value for money. Which is such an austerity-based thing to say, but please don't look at it like that. This is an expensive car, but it's worth every single penny, because every time you walk up to it, you'll smile. Every time you start that engine, you will smile, and the driving characteristics are just uncomparable. While the fuel economy is not the best, you look past it. While the inside space isn't as big as an XF, it's more nimble. While the boot space I find was a little bit too encrouched, you just put the base on the rear seat for me. It will take a host of things, and it will do your airport run relatively well. But the only thing I could say is that you really need to have split fold rear seats, because that will just open up a whole new world of potential for this car. And you really do need to know how to drive, because this will very, very easily catch you out.